You are listening to The Standards Show, the podcast that brings you the stories behind the standards, with Matthew Childs and Cindy Parakill.
Hello, this is Matthew Childs and I am with
Cindy Parakill.
Hey, Cindy Parakill. Now look, hey, here's the twist though. And I'm also with
Andrea Sandy.
Andrea Sandy. We call you Andy. Should we be calling you Andrea? How about that?
You're Andy in my mind.
Yeah, I know. In most people's minds.
Now, come on, Cindy. Where are you?
Well, at home in Geneva. Nowhere that exciting. What about you?
And well, no. You can't get that. What's it like in Geneva? Paint the picture for us.
It's raining. It actually feels like the UK. I'm not going to lie.
Oh,
But from tomorrow onwards, it's going to go uphill. So we're going to get some sunshine. It'll be very nice.
petty UK prejudice there, I think, about the weather.
Well, maybe I feel at home.
It's very, very sunny here. Before I get to the UK, though, Andy, where are you?
I am in Bolivia.
That's okay. You're going to have to narrow it
Whereabouts?
down. Come on.
Well, I'm in La Paz, Bolivia. So it's the mountainous region part, and it's pretty sunny and beautiful. I have a very blue sky. It's just amazing.
And a temperature check?
I don't know, at least I think 19, 20 degrees Celsius.
Do you know what? It's almost identical to what it is here. 19, 20 degrees, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's finally stopped raining after, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks, and we finally have a bit of spring.
Oh, lovely.
Yes. Now, we are in celebratory mood, aren't we? Because this is episode 150.
Woohoo! I had to do that.
So we thought we'd bring together, well, Cindy and I have been doing this for, I don't know, nearly 4 years now.
My God.
I know.
My
I can't quite believe it. I know. It can't work. But Andy, you have been doing this for episode 5. Now, you better explain. You know, you hosted sort of a sister show of the Standards Show, don't you?
Yes. So in order to be more inclusive, we start with a sister episode in Spanish and Portuguese. So yeah, it's around 6 months, I think.
6 months. You better tell us what it's called for people who don't. People maybe listen to us for the very first time. What's the sister show called?
It's the Standards Show LatinoAmerica.
LatinoAmerica. All the flavours of that. Well, all we've come to expect from the Standards Show, but with that special Latin American focus and flavour. You can tell I've recorded that quite a few times, can't you?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Definitely.
So the three of us thought we'd get together just to sort of, mark the occasion that 150 episodes of the podcast that brings you the stories behind the standards. Now, we've done the Where Are We? But I'm going to ask, because normally when we do these, we did it for episode 100. For episode 100, we definitely celebrated with tea and cake. And tea and cake had become a sort of familiar, so sort of a part of the
narrative.
Yes, it's always there. And it's part of the Standard Show folklore. So, Cindy, are you eating cake? And if you are eating cake, what are you eating?
Indeed, I actually got a slice of cake. I'm having a real velvet. Oh my God, I got too excited.
A real velvet. I like the sound of that.
Yeah. Red velvet for me today.
Are you drinking that with anything alcoholic rather than tea or coffee?
No.
Looks like.
No, I know it sounds like it, but certainly not. I have a nice rooibos tea with me.
Rooibos tea, very good. And
What
Andy,
about-
well, I was going to go, Andy, what are you eating? Have you got cake with you?
Not yet. So this is my lunch.
Auntie!
Have you not been listening for 149 episodes?
I have it in the fridge. It's just like there, sitting very close by. It's a chocolate one, a very rich chocolate one.
Is that a very popular cake in Bolivia, or not?
No, it's just a very chocolate rich and chocolate that you feel guilty after you get it. That kind of chocolate cake.
I know exactly
What is
what
that?
you mean.
Is there a particular, famous cake or pastry in Bolivia?
Well, there is a lot of traditional food. Not very big on the pastry side. There is some salty empanadas, but they're not exactly empanadas that I call salteñas. those are amazing. Those were the thing I miss when I was away. Like mid morning, I was like, oh, my soul for a salteña. But yeah.
Very nice. Well, it might surprise both of you to know that I don't actually have cake.
What?
I know.
I'm the only one
Why?
upholding the tradition. I mean, what is this?
I know. I do feel bad. I mean, if I did, I would have tea, obviously. But if I did have cake, it would obviously be a Victoria sponge cake, which Cindy and I we talked about this on the Farm to Fork series, and we cleared up the discussion, the whole debate about the best cake, and I think we both agreed that universally the Victoria sponge is the best cake, didn't we? So that's all sorted now. You see.
I don't think so.
I think we did.
No, I wasn't part of that conversation, and I'm strongly against
Andy, the conversation
that.
is now closed now, you see, so you can't get into that conversation.
It might need to have a revision of it, like standards,
Oh, come back to it. Oh, my goodness.
Nice segue.
No, I think my cake prejudice should just win out. And I get to... No consensus here. I just decide unilaterally that it's the best cake.
Okay.
No, I haven't got cake because I think BSI have arranged a huge firework display from the top of the building in Chiswick, so I don't need to bother about cake this time because the 150th episode is being celebrated with a huge firework display.
Oh, wow. Send pictures, please.
We can only dream, can't we?
Exactly. One day.
Maybe ISO are doing it instead. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
Who knows?
Street parties, national holiday.
Exactly. Actually, tomorrow is a national holiday.
Oh, we've had that. We had ours yesterday.
Ah, okay. Right.
Do you have May Day, Andy? May Day in South America?
Yeah, it's usually the first day of the month.
It is officially, but we have the bank holiday we had it yesterday, which is time of recording. Yesterday was the 5th.
Yeah,
no 6th.
No, yesterday was the 6th.
6th, yeah.
Yeah, no, we only have it the first day, whatever day it lands. So
yeah,
it's gone.
Here too. It's the 1st of May, but this is a different public holiday. Don't ask me what it is, but yeah. Not tomorrow. Sorry. Oh my God. I completely got my facts wrong. It's not tomorrow. Got too excited. It's day after tomorrow.
I don't think that is rooibos tea, to be fair. I think you're proving now.
This is Emma Glass here, University Partnerships Manager at BSI. Just jumping in to say congratulations on 150 episodes, guys. And also to provide the regular reminder here on the Standards Show about getting involved in standards. Standards affect all of us every day, wherever we go, whatever we do. By defining good practice, they help people and organizations to do things better. Each year, standards bodies publish thousands of standards, and we are looking for more people like you to join our community of standards makers. We welcome applicants from all fields, backgrounds, and career stages. Our goal is a simple one: to have a balance of views around the table. By becoming a standards maker, you could help improve the way things are made and done. Like creating healthier and more inclusive workplaces, developing higher quality healthcare systems, making advances in AI governance, or accelerating climate action. So, if you want to make a difference and shape the world through standards, start your standards making journey now. Details of how to do so are in the show notes.
So obviously we are at episode 150 and thought it'd be a good idea, just to share some reflections really about why, obviously we love doing this podcast, but what we all love about standards really. So maybe Cindy, maybe start with you. What is it you love most about standards or love about standards?
Well, what is there not to love about standards?
Lots of things, Cindy.
I know, but jokes aside, I think it's just amazing that there are standards for absolutely everything under the sun. Things we can touch, feel, all those intangible things as well. And it's amazing that standards are working away in the background to make our lives, easier, safer, and more enjoyable. This is our tagline. I know I'm not repeating that, but it's actually true. And all the stakeholder engagement that takes place to develop a standard consensus, all the really important things.
How about you then, Andy? How about you then, Andy? What is it? What is it you love most about standards, or love about standards?
Well, I think there are two things. One is that yes, they're like in every single topic, like there is always a standard behind it or part of it. That's quite interesting because it's broad, so you can talk about many, many, many different things, and there's always like a way to link it to standards. And the other thing is that I enjoy a lot learning, and it's a very good combination to have a topic that can be transcendent to every basically single thing and someone that is curious and like to learn. So I think that's for me.
And you, Matthew Cho?
And you, Matthew?
I suppose I'm going to kind of agree with you both. Really, there is something sort of I'll say mildly seductive about it. One of the things we use on the podcast all the time is about standards journeys, isn't it? And we ask people how they got involved in standards. You know, how and when did it start for you, and where are you now, kind of thing. And we put people in different camps, didn't we? You were either, you know, when were you seduced by standards,
Yeah.
or when were you
Stumbled
into standards. There was seduced, stumbled,
Yeah.
and
Seduced.
steeped.
Sorry.
Steeped, yeah. So people have been involved in it a long time. And I suppose I, 10 years ago kind of became seduced by standards when I started working in this area. And like you guys, really, it sort of revealed to you that, oh, wow, it is everywhere that you look. And I'm seduced by the simplicity of it as well, the simplicity of the model, of the idea, just bringing people together, all different people from different perspectives around the table to have a discussion or a row or a conversation globally about what good looks like for all sorts of things. And I think that very, very simple idea is captivating and alluring and seductive, really, because once you sort of agree that that's a great idea, a great principle, then it can take you anywhere. You can then look at standardizing huge amounts of things, not just about products and the way things are made, but the way things are done, the processes that organizations use, and also maybe even behaviors and ideas even. I mean, it's not limiting. And I think that's what's so amazing about standards and standardization, really. You can take it anywhere. And it has been taken, as you guys have said, to all different things. I mean, the standards catalogue now that national standards bodies have, or international bodies like ISO and IC, are huge. They offer everything you can pretty much think of, and then some. And it gets very, very broad, simple ideas, but it can also be very technical specifications for a particular thing in a particular industry. And I find that fascinating and seductive. So I'm kind of on my way to I've been seduced, and I'm on my way to being I kind of stumbled, I suppose, but now I've been seduced, and now I'm on my way to being steeped. 10 years in, there you go.
Love that. Beautiful.
And I kind of that's the reason, I suppose, why I wanted to start the podcast, really, to bring those stories of the standards. We've got the standard in the middle, and then you've got all the people that are sitting around the table on one side, the standards makers, and they've got stories to tell about why they're involved, why they're developing a particular standard, the impact they want it to have. And on the other hand, you've got the standards users, those organizations out there that are using the standards to make their products better, improve the quality of their organizations, and become better organizations, better for their employees and their customers and their stakeholders. And then bring that all together, and it kind of makes the world a better place, as you were saying, Cindy. So the podcast was really about tapping into the stories on both of those sides, really, to bring those stories to life and to give people and organizations a platform to tell their stories to a wide audience, really. So that's why I've really enjoyed 149 episodes so far of telling these stories about these things that are working behind the scenes to make our lives, better, safer, and more enjoyable. As you said, Cindy, very.
Of course.
Of course. How about you? Though, Andy? What do you love about I mean, you're only 5 episodes into Standards Show LatinoAmerica. Why do you love doing it, and maybe where do you hope to take LatinoAmerica?
Well, I really enjoy learning from people's journeys. I think it's so inspiring, at least for me. I also have the chance to see a different phase of their careers that's usually unnoticed, and the deep motivation behind it. So it's really nice. I really like it. And well, you know that I'm aiming to have my own space on the platform. So it's just not gonna be just a
Are
sister.
you pitching for your new feed already?
Yeah,
Wow, that's
yes,
amazing.
yes. It's
Yeah.
really good. It's gonna be really good.
And what do you love? What do you love about doing the podcast, Cindy?
Well, everything you mentioned, Matthew and Andy, it's just such an amazing tool to engage with people. What we discussed earlier about how people stumble into the world of standards, I think that aspect is so interesting because standards are just everywhere and people have a unique story to tell. And it's very nice, and I really like uncovering that. Um, our episodes are also very different and versatile. They come in different shapes and forms, bite-sized chunks, more chunkier episodes, meatier episodes. I mean, it's the variety. The podcast is such a versatile tool that we can use to achieve many objectives. So yeah, I love the podcast.
I agree with all of that as well. Actually, you've reminded me that obviously as a 150 episode, 149 episodes up until this point, it hasn't been all the same. We've created all these sort of mini series. We've done our standards in 10 minutes. We've done our Farm to Fork series, and obviously we're doing Standards Show LatinoAmerica now. And I think that flexibility, because we've gone anywhere and everywhere and developed all sorts of content. It's not your usual business podcast. It's not your usual corporate podcast. We have, used a particular style and tone of voice and taken that to explore those stories wherever they are in the standards world, and either as standalone episodes or as a part of a little series or mini series or ongoing series like our Standards Desk of News, which we do monthly. And I think that flexibility has been a privilege, really, and a bit of responsibility too. And I've loved that too. I've loved that we have just taken it everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think we should pay a tribute to BSI and our colleagues, and also ISO as well, for allowing us to do that, to allowing us to take the podcast where we would like to take it, but we know that the listeners want us to take it, and also our guests and contributors, the stories they want to tell too. So that's been a real privilege too. I think we should also say, shouldn't we? That we should also say that we do know there's lots of other standards podcasts that national standards bodies and other organisations are either publishing now or thinking about publishing too. So
Indeed.
the idea is spreading, isn't it, about engaging people in this way. Now, look, given that it's been 4 years worth of content nearly and 149 episodes, I want to highlight. Okay, I want to highlight a sort of a particular moment or a favourite story. So, Cindy, I'm going to come to you first. Can you select one for us?
Yeah, of course. Well, I've got two actually in mind.
I said just one, so you're already breaking the rules.
Sorry. I'm still going to go with it. Well, I must say, top of the list would be the episodes we did in person. So Matthew and I, in action, in person, be it at the cafe or at the farm. A particular moment I enjoyed was the, what's it called? The AIXR studio? The virtual
AIXR, yeah,
exactly.
the virtual reality.
The virtual reality. Those were really fun. But also on the more serious side, I personally love the episodes I did with the WTO, UNCTAD, the African Development Banks, where we really unpacked how standards are helping to address global challenges. So that was I would say those two.
Those face-to-face ones were good. Certainly on the Farm to Fork series, where we did get up close and personal with quite a few cows, didn't we? So
We did.
That whole series there available on the feed. How about, but pun intended there. Andy, how about you? You're only a few episodes in, but any highlights you want to mention?
Yeah, the thing is that I don't have so many episodes, and I don't want to play favorites with any of those. But one thing that I really enjoy was the challenge of doing one episode in Portuguese, like the first one, because they're more common. Because that's one idea that we got from the start, that it was not going to be completely Latin America if we don't focus on Brazil and the whole stories that are surrounding it. So that was one thing that I really dread, but enjoyed a lot. So
Well,
that would be
thank
my
you,
highlight.
Andy. Well, thank you, Andy, for stepping up there. And obviously, you obviously talk beautifully in your native Spanish, but to go into Portuguese, that is absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, amazing for that. It's brilliant that we've been able to do that and just take the Standards Show and just take it to a whole different area. And for people to listen to it in Spanish and Portuguese is amazing. And we should say, actually, Cindy, you have spoken German because you're a linguist too. You have spoken German on the show, haven't you?
Indeed.
Yeah, you both put my language skills to absolute shame. So let's not talk about how many other languages I speak.
To share.
I think you've mentioned some of the ones that I've really liked. So some of the face-to-face things we did when we were down on the farm and things like that, and really sort of taking the show out on the road. I've really enjoyed doing those and looking forward to doing more of those in the future. But I've got a bit of a soft spot, I think, for the standards in 10 minutes. I've really enjoyed doing those. And we've developed a nice little format now, haven't we, Cindy, where it's just 10 things you need to know.
So practical.
So, yeah, exactly. Yep. Keeping it nice and simple. And we've done quite a few of those. I think we've been approaching sort of 13 or 14 of those now. And I mean, BSI has 40,000 standards on its catalogue. So I think we've got a few more of those to do. Yeah, plenty of content there for us to dive into. So I think the standard in 10 minutes, I've looked at all the episodes, but a particular soft spot at the moment for that particular series. Right, Cindy, I suppose I better let you get back to the what was it? Rel Vedvit?
Stop it.
Wasn't it?
With the nice weather.
Velvet.
Yes.
And apparently rooibos tea, but I think it was probably something else.
Sure.
And Andy, what was it? Chocolate cake for you?
Oh yeah, that's my dessert. I'm gonna have to go and have my lunch first. But yeah.
And are you going to have some cake, Matthew Child?
Well, yes. Although I talked about obviously BSI very cheekily doing a fireworks display instead, I think I probably do need to hunt down some cake and maybe open a bottle of fizz to celebrate our 150th episode of the Standards Show. I thought I should wrap up this little podcast extra to celebrate 150 episodes of The Standards Show with some very important thank yous. First, to Alan Sellers, without whom I may not have got the podcast off the ground at all. Check out episode 100 for the full story about that. Thank you to all of our guests from around the world who have passionately shared their stories and experiences. To the many colleagues and contributors who have shared their ideas and made suggestions, we thank you. Thank you to Tom Wally, podcast producer extraordinaire, mentor and friend. And of course, to our listeners. Thank you for lending us your ears for us to bring you the stories behind the standards.
You have been listening to an episode of The Standards Show, the podcast that brings you the stories behind the standards, with Matthew Childs and Cindy Paragill.
You just heard a Stripped Media production.